to Petrified Wood, mission number 4. Shadow in the Mist. Shadows in the Mist. Yeah.
So
Point of order. Have we had a chance to recover from our wounds, or do we still have those?
You will have recovered.
Jolly good, because I was on 5 of 5.
Now, as far as I remember, everyone was very happy with how we conducted the last mission. We did everything right, and everyone was super impressed.
Correct. Yeah.
Seems like it.
You got all the XP from the mission.
Yeah,
You
fine.
accepted it with grace and humility. Yes.
Sounds good
I
to
can't
me.
see people again.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the writers of the adventure, when I told them what happened, they were like, that's exactly what we thought would happen. It's exactly what we planned for.
Good.
We just said about, the other shit, for the losers.
Yeah. Right, so.
Yeah. And they said, give Molasses a second shadow dagger.
Yeah.
Clearly underpowered.
To be fair, my weapons aren't great. How do you get a new weapon? Oh, I've looked at Zammit now. This really works.
Sorry, is your special stabby blade not good enough?
No, it's just a little. Well, it's a magic dagger, I suppose. I guess that's pretty cool.
It's only like dealing 10 damage a hit.
Yeah, when I have shadows, but we take me to that desert place you're talking about. Oh, I've got these little toothpicks, basically.
Maybe Fantasy Perkins could get you a scope for that knife.
Add a flame at this knife. I tell you what.
I'm really thinking I should have played a fire mage just to do that.
I need a break. From the fire.
A break from the fire. Right. So you're back in Anvilgard. You're having a nice time. Did anybody think about any endeavours? I think that is, isn't it?
Well, I remember. Well, there are more endeavours in the other book, the Champions of Order. Because I swear in the first one, the only good one was the kind of combat one, which only gives me like a little thing that I never know.
Yeah, I think I pasted some of the Anvilgard specific ones, and yeah, there's the one where you go to the pits.
Yeah.
All the other Daughters of Cain hang out.
It always just gives me that thing that I always forget to use. Which again is more me than the endeavour, I suppose. So we're only allowed to do Anvilgard specific endeavours.
No, you can do other ones if you want.
These. That's weird.
Well, I'll start the.
Yeah.
I'll start off, and then we can see how we go, and then.
The record, I absolutely haven't thought of any endeavours and will therefore not get the benefits of that I'm currently looking at. Things to have spent my XP on.
I chose the pits thing, but I'm trying to find the exact part. To set everything, but yeah, it's the fighting thing for Carrich.
Fine, we can go over that in a bit. But you are. Let me get some music. You've returned to Anvilgard. You've been there for a couple of weeks in your little abode, and you get a summons, but this time it is not to the Grand Conclave. You are summoned to the heart of Anvilgard. You are summoned to the Black Nexus.
Ooh.
The Storm Fort of the Annals of the Helm and Hammer.
The Black Nexus, are we saying?
Nexus.
Lovely.
I don't know what a Nexus is.
No idea.
And you are requested to head there immediately by order of Lord Castellant Ephrem Vanhelm, who was the one who sent you to Anvilgard in the first place.
Was he now? Let's
Yes.
see what my notes have to say about that.
Well,
Huh?
What's he called again?
Ephrem Vanhelm.
I didn't write down his name at the start. Well, it rings a bell.
Orixion absolutely takes the role here of the member of the apprentice caste who's taken the call in the morning to say that we have to go to fucking Harrods or whatever to meet Lord Sugar.
Emirates Stadium.
And then rushes upstairs to where everybody's still getting dressed. Everyone, we've got to... That's why the film crew turned up. We've got to do an episode now.
There's 12 cars outside.
And it's 5:30. Oh, isn't one life hard? Oh, life in the city. Oh, yeah.
What a show.
Yeah. Do they? I haven't seen it in years. Do they stop off at Leon on the way now, or what do they do?
I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
I watched the video game episode. It wasn't.
And then Sugar's like, "Have you had your black beans? Yeah, have your black beans, lad.
Yep, your pot of eggs.
Have your
What
eggs
is this?
Yes.
and your flat white."
The Apprentice.
Okay.
Apprentice. Anyway.
Television show about not business.
Yeah, so you arrive at the Black Nexus. This is probably the most Stormcast you've seen in Anvilgard since you arrived. And they're all in their black and gold armor.
That's very unhappy.
Yeah, Zuriel and Orixion, you know that the Anvils, all of their souls were previously dead. And that is why they are quite spooky and morbid.
Okay.
And they hang out a lot in the realm of death.
Shaish.
Shaish. You are led to a central chamber, and before you stands Lord Castellant Ephrem Vanhelm. And he has a fucking cool picture.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So,
Whoa,
yeah.
Look at them mutton chops.
so when we last saw him, though, we weren't in this city. We were somewhere else. We were sent here by him. Right?
So he's the Lord Castellant of... Well, actually, one of the Lord Castellants of Anvilgard. So
he's always been in.
So he's in charge of all of the defense of it, basically. So yes, he you were sent by Sigmar when you did the binding. You were sent to Anvilgard.
Orixion will perform whatever act of formal respect is required, and salute across his chest or kneel or whatever one does when one's a knight Azyros in front of a Lord Castellant.
Yeah.
Molasses will roll her eyes.
Comments.
Hail the Hydra. Whatever.
Molasses and Carrich, how do you guys feel about being in this deep within the storm fort?
Molasses not happy. A lot of big, chunky nerds, she thinks. She's two of them is bad enough. She's not happy. But she finds it very amusing, I think.
Carrich would kind of be in awe because, like the Stoneguard, they're people who have given their life and they continue to come back to be able to defend and everything. And it's kind of it reminds him of the trial that he had to go through, going through the mountain to be able to get his his stances. So he's quite impressed. And he's in awe.
Nice. So the Lord Castellant beckons you forward, and he has a little speech prepared. So he says, says, "Well met, Sigmar's chosen. I have called you here, so allow me to be direct. I have been following your actions since you arrived in this city. I did not approve of Azir sending 2 elves and stormcast from outside our chamber to achieve what we could not. Admittedly, you did well to recover the stolen defoliant, and Sigmar's relic remains out of the hands of the black-scaled coil. However, we have heard rumours that the Grand Conclave are attempting another expedition as we speak. It may have been more prudent to return it for safekeeping within the Black Nexus. Alas, I can tell from your expressions that the Conclave did not inform you or ask for your help. Therefore you are not close to their designs currently. This is good. Now I shall command you directly as a Lord Castellant of the Anvils of the Helden Hammer. I want you to head to the docks. There is a crime scene that I wish you to investigate before anyone else has the chance. Word has reached me that something is amiss with the defoliant again.
Bloody defoliant.
Bloody defoliant.
That's all they ever talk about.
I know.
Is the defoliant... Is it a metaphor for climate change?
I hope so.
Feels like. Hammering it home a bit. But Molasses is listening, but she'll let the others talk to this pompous mutton chop.
Lord Castellant, if I may ask, if you are aware of the Conclave making another expedition to retrieve Sigmar's artifacts, what is it that you and the Anvils intend to do about it?
There is currently nothing we are able to do about it, which is why it would have been useful for us to have it in the first place. They'll probably return it under their own guard back to Anvilgard if they are able. We must help them protect it from there, but we will not be able to keep it within the Black Nexus.
But are you saying they're sending another
Zuriel
expedition back to where we just
suitably
came from?
chastened. Sorry.
That is correct. Molasses, Slaughtershade. Slaughtershade.
Slaughtershade. Alright, Mr. Connery. That feels like it kind of makes the entire last 6 weeks of adventuring very redundant, doesn't it?
Well, I think you may have remarked that you did the right thing when you returned, so...
A lot's happened in these past months we've been here. When we first came here, I think we were charged with deciding whether these best of little people were worth even saving. That was, I believe, our original mission objective. I care neither way if they live or die. But we also have grand suspicions of the Conclave. We've been told many times not to trust them. Are we not concerned, I guess, that they'll go and retrieve this relic for themselves now? Even though we did drop it in lava.
Sorry,
Do you not have concerns?
That is my Griffhound.
Strange. I assume you don't trust the Conclave either, but we've had many people tell us they are untrustworthy and just good. So I assume it sounds like that you feel like we shouldn't be. You're glad we're not working with them.
The Conclave is numbers over 100 servants of Sigmar. Some obviously have selfish designs, and some truly wish to serve Sigmar himself. But I put my trust solely in my Stormcast.
Well, I don't want to. Sorry, apparently someone from the Labour Party wanted to sign papers. I don't know why. I do, I just been busy. I'll be back in a minute.
Someone literally from the Labour parties.
I don't know why then. Why?
They'll ask the bloody Labour Party what they're doing at 8:10.
I know, what, the Gestapo? Just turning up at his front door.
Shouting papers.
Well, I guess that's the end of Molasses' line of questioning.
So, Lord Castellant, what else do you know about this crime scene at the docks? What should we expect?
He says, oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. He says, one of my Knight Azyros spotted it only less than an hour ago. I believe you should make all haste before the city guard are drawn by the screams. But needless to say, I think there is something wrong again with the defoliant, and I believe this will be the first clue into uncovering what is wrong with this city. I feel there are forces at play who are starting to reveal their hand.
When you say something wrong with the defoliant, what exactly is wrong?
Of that I can't be sure, and this is why I'm sending you to investigate.
Well then, that works for me, sir.
Cool. We can show you. You can leave if you like.
Yeah.
You can leave
Yeah.
Molasses AFK in the
Like,
chamber.
Oh yeah, should we wait for Mike to see if he has any questions?
It's fine.
Nah.
We can do flashback. Oh, he's back.
Aha, there he is.
They just fall apart without me, they would. My goodness.
Welcome
You didn't
back.
miss much. We're going to the docks.
Well, that was the mission.
yeah,
Well,
Orixion's basically fanboys at the Lord Castellant, and we'll just do more or less whatever he says.
So we don't know what's wrong, we just know that something is wrong. And we're heading there to investigate.
I'm still concerned that they're just going to go and fucking retrieve the relic, though.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
it's-
that's what they might do.
Well, hopefully they'll die. Seems likely. Depends how good their quartermaster is, I suppose.
Well,
I mean-
where it is now, they can just take the airships.
Or yeah, fly the Eagles to Mount Doom.
Yeah.
The conclave are not like all baddies, we don't think, right? Like
Okay.
they're infiltrated by some people that we weren't good enough to unmask earlier on. But they're not all baddies. Like them getting the relic is not apocalypse.
Okay. All right.
No, in fact he was okay with them getting the relic, it's just they couldn't protect it themselves. They would have to protect
Yeah, I know,
whoever.
but Mike was seeming sort of torn at the fact that we're going to the docks to complete this mission for the Lord Castellant instead of chasing off to make sure that somebody
no.
else can get the relic.
No, I suppose it's just it just sits a bit funny after it's so long.
Got a
Resting there
nasty
to,
taste in the back of your mouth.
to stop it.
Someone
and
else
then
is getting that whatever the thing was.
And that's fine with me because apparently one of the themes of this adventure is like a noir, so you should be suspicious of everyone.
we are.
I mean, we are about to go and investigate a murder scene at the docks as well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's probably time for Zuriel to put on a trilby and start making an unreasonably narrow cigarette.
Yep.
Um,
Log in about the city.
God, I hate this place. I can roll up enough aqua gyranis. I'm going straight back to Azir to live with my girl for the rest of time.
What's Trilby?
The big detective's hat, you feel like Dick
Yeah.
Tracy or like.
Yeah, Dick Trace is good. Yeah.
PI's hat, yeah. Alright. So you head to the docks. And
Now, last time we were at the docks, it didn't go very well. So, as far as I remember.
Sort of did.
No, it did not.
No, we got stranded at sea.
Oh,
That wasn't
that.
at the docks.
Huh?
That was at the sea.
No, but we must have gone by the docks to get to the boat to get to the sea, right?
There's like a portal in the docks. It's like for the loading screen, and then as soon as you go in, you're like, oh no, shit, we're back in the sea.
I seem to remember when we were last at the docks, we had a wonderful warehouse battle.
Oh, that was good.
It was a right old hoot.
That was a hoot. So we're going to
A little scrap it was.
number 15, something like that, or like where are we going on the map?
Yeah, let's say that. Number 15.
Oh, I'd love to
Okay,
see
like-
that.
Crow's Nest.
I was saying a noir crime thriller with Leonard Cohen as the as the investigator.
I would watch the shit out of that. Just for the.
Olly, would you permit me just to slightly retcon that I have learnt a new spell as my endeavour, but to use it must be cast at a rest.
Yeah.
So if I can just have it be done already.
Yeah, it's fine.
Excellent. I've got fate dice now.
What's that?
Nice.
Let's just find out how it goes.
In general, the concept is you roll some dice before the session and keep them, and then you can spend them on rolls that you want to do well on.
And how many do you get?
It's a 6-1 test, and for each 6, I get a dice until my next rest.
Isn't that what you used to have
They
with?
count as a 6?
No.
Oh.
So then you have to
they're
roll
not
again
really
to
fate dice.
see what they count as?
No, I just get to add a dice to a pool of a test with it.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Right.
so it's not quite fate dice,
No,
but
it's not really.
cool.
And I get 2 with my focus, so I have 2 glimpse dice. Anyway, as you were.
Okay.
Nice. You can. So you can't get a 6 on your hit and wound with your bright mouse then. Shame.
No,
Very
sadly
sad.
not.
Very
I am a
sad.
bright lance, so
That's true. Right. The roiling green mists are thick in the harbour tonight. Can't hear you, Mikey.
Oh, I'm talking to myself.
Oh, right. Okay. So thick your every breath burns in your lungs, and your footsteps are muffled whispers on the pavement. You can barely see your own hands in front of your face, but even through the sense-damping mists, there is no mistaking the shrill cries of shocked horror that fill the air around you.
Is this still like the good defoliant as it were, or is there the bad stuff again?
What was the good defoliant?
We're like it smelled funky, but it was still technically better. The stuff
Yeah, that's the one that there is right.
It smells funky, but it's better at keeping
Yeah,
the plants, the jungle at bay. Yeah.
but it's just very thick. Here is what we're saying.
Yeah. You track the screams through the dockside mists until a vast shape emerges from the haze. Before you stands a towering Kurnoth hunter, seemingly unmoving. As you get closer, you see its bark has turned a sickly white, and they are frozen in place. I don't know if you saw the new image for Roll20, but that was the scene. But this is a Kurnoth hunter who is not sickly white.
It's a Groot.
Yeah, they're like
Horrendous.
12 feet tall.
Yeah, cool.
Elden
That's
Ring.
taken straight out of. Go ahead, sorry.
I just said Elden Ring PTSD.
Well, the big bow and arrows.
Anything with a big bow and arrow just makes my asshole clench now.
Is there any big creature is now an Elden Ring like TM creation?
No, specifically the bow thing. I know it's not very cool to be like, oh yeah, that's the thing that's in the.
Did you
the
say
current
about the
game.
about the that thing I posted a few days ago? The
Yeah, but that was definitely
the
from
night
Elden Ring.
haunt in the boat.
That was most certainly from Elden Ring. This is
Yeah.
more. Alex is right.
But Olly,
You play it.
if you Google Tibia Marauder,
Marina.
sorry, Mariner, Tibia Mariner, it is eye
Exactly.
fucking identical.
Marina.
Whereas this, yes, if you just see anything with a big bow, it's just gonna kill you, no matter where you are. If you're behind a rock, it'll fucking bend it around a corner to get you. It's horrible stuff.
See a guy with a big horn.
There's lots of big horns in.
Anyway,
Shadowhunters are badass.
they are badass, but this one is frozen and turned into a sickly white. You find several people scattered around, looking in shock, but you also see an elven woman who is standing the closest, and she's trying to reach out to sort of put a hand on the big hand of the Colonel Hunter. And you believe you have arrived at the crime scene.
Orixion will sort of dash forward or fly forward, I guess, depending on what the distance is, and kind of call out imperiously, "Don't touch it! In the God King's name, stand clear. This is a crime scene."
She pulls her hand back and like looks at the party like shocked to see you all there.
Thank you. Make a hole. Make a hole. Stand back. Molasses, secure the perimeter.
Carrich, I'm sure you should be more than able to hold back a few civilians.
I blood sacrifice them all. There you go. Is that what you wanted?
Look, it's the alternative to Trooper Johnson. Keep these people back. God damn it! But that's not really.
She just kind of lazy says, "No, stop! Don't go near it." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, Carrich will push them away, keep them off the area.
She's kind of moved closer to the frozen tree man. Kind of pokes it with a knife.
Let's have Detective Molasses' notes on the corpse, shall we?
She's never seen anything like it before, so it's quite fascinating. But yeah, I think it's fairly intuitive. Just like, try and cut into it. Is it like frozen, or is it like just the wood rotted?
Do you want to investigate it?
Yes, I'd stab it with a knife.
Okay.
Not like a big plunge, just kind of try and slice into it and see what happens. It might yelp, and he might have just been sleeping. There's lots of things that could happen.
So your first thought is to stab it.
Have you seen my surname?
Have you met Molasses?
No, I'm just checking, just confirming.
Sorry, there is a thing that says what happens if you stab it.
Oh, really? See, there you go. They're expecting these things to happen, you see. It's not out of the ordinary.
So where do you stab it?
Like, I guess it's quite tall, right? So
Yeah.
probably just like upper thigh.
So as you stab into it, it sort of crumbles like very, very old dead wood,
Oh god, yeah. That's pretty good.
and just falls to the pavement.
Oh, the whole thing?
Sort of like the leg that you stab.
Okay.
Molasses, but perhaps that is the only stabbing of this creature that we shall be doing as a part of this investigation.
Well, I've learned more than you all have in this short space of time, so if you're willing to come and investigate, you can. But I've learned a lot. It's decayed. It's very fragile. Nobody stab it. And
Molasses, give me a 4-2 weapon skill test.
yeah, easy. Easy, mate. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it.
Oh.
Easy.
Oh.
So as you look on this figure, you get the sense that it was petrified in the midst of combat. It seems to be in a combat stance, meaning that whatever caused this to happen would have worked almost instantaneously.
Is
Zuriel,
there...
as you glance with your witch sight, you can reveal a subtle taint of chaos magic.
Oh.
And you can see it sort of heavily concentrated somewhere on the floor near the figure. Sorry, what were you saying, Michael?
I was going to say, it's like, my mind goes to like some kind of like blast or breath or like a bit. Is like there's anything else kind of petrified around it? Like, is it, or was it literally like it's like just on this creature?
Just on it.
Following the flow of the tainted magical energies, Zuriel would like to closer inspect this source or pool.
So you find a collection of broken glass shards scattered about, and the largest piece, which was what you've zoned in on, is a curved segment of fragile and crudely blown glass. It looks like it could have been part of a glass bottle or container. Closer inspection reveals a faintly brown-green liquid residue that has an incredibly strong smell, reminiscent of the defoliant, infused with a cloying rot.
Well, this is troubling. He explains what he's established to the party. Are there any other sort of signs of battle, kind of combat around that he can see?
You can give me an awareness check.
Sure can. What's the DN?
4-2.
I do have focus in awareness, so that is a success.
Yep. So you don't see any other signs of combat.
Interesting. It appears that our friend here may have been taken by surprise and incapacitated almost immediately. This is consistent with Molasses' findings.
Thorough investigation.
Who of the party have A, seen a Sylvaneth, and B, even know of their existence?
It's all new to Molasses.
Very possible Orixion might not have done, to be honest. He spent most of his career as a Stormcast in Azir, and I don't know what his mortal life was like, because I haven't thought it out.
Where do they tend to inhabit?
Yeah, I was going to ask, are they rare? Because if you have to like look for them specifically to know them, to know about them, then Carrich wouldn't know. But if they're like general knowledge, like elves and Dwarden or whatever, then he would know.
They tend to mostly be in the realm of Gairan, which is the realm of life. Sometimes you come across them, but they're actually very secretive and reclusive. But they are allied with the forces of Sigmar, so you may have fought with them on a battlefield if you were a Stormcast, for example. But that's kind of about it. If you were an elf, you might know about them, or have heard rumours of them, like an elven kindred that live in the forests of Gairan and worship Alariel.
Yeah, then I guess like basic knowledge that's just passed down generations.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool.
So the body is, you said, like sort of looked like frozen. It's frozen solid, but it had like white marks on it or something.
So it's more like it's like petrified, I guess is the word. It's not cold, but it's been, it's obviously dead don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, like petrified, stunned, but seems to be dead.
Zuriel would like to appeal to the crowds for witnesses in a noble and stormcasty way.
Yeah. So the elven woman who was reaching out to the Kernoth hunter steps forward. No one else does. And she says, I was walking with Redleaf through the night when we were ambushed. I was thrown to the side. I didn't see what happened. But I heard the sound of fighting and the smashing of glass. By the time I returned, he was already dead.
And did you catch any details of your assailants?
I was thrown aside by rough hands, and I heard many feet, but they were gone as soon as they arrived. I don't know who would do such a thing to him.
Sorry to kind of just kind of like basically support that. Orixion just kind of go shoulder to shoulder with Zuriel and maybe subtly kind of crouch down just a little, or try and get down on this woman's level slightly.
Yeah.
And say, it's clear you've been through much, but you must be aware we are here on the orders of the God King himself. It's important that you share everything that you might have seen, even if you think there might be a risk to yourself. We are on your side. You must help us. Is there anything else you saw from these people? And I have advantage on opposed tests when attempting to resolve a conflict, gauge other people's moods, and tell if people are lying. Because I'm a diplomat.
Yeah, you don't sense any dishonesty in her. You believe she's being truthful, and she's just shocked and almost a little bit, maybe they're a little bit naive about like bad stuff could happen, but she says to you that she would have no idea who would attack a Kernoth hunter, because they're incredibly powerful warriors, and they also carry no valuables with them either. So it's like she just can't understand why anyone would come out of nowhere and try and kill a Sylvaneth. And she says, I've had dealings with the Sylvaneth in Anvilgard for many years, and I know that many of them do not trust the people of this city, and I fear this will spell the end of their presence here if they feel that they are under threat.
You suspect that it may be the work of someone who wanted these tree men gone.
They have few allies, but they also would have few enemies. I would think. They keep to themselves.
You say you were walking with this, did you say Redleaf? When the attack took place. What can you tell us about him and what you were doing?
Well, Redleaf, every few nights he would stalk the streets of Anvilgard. I do not know why. He would never talk to me very much, but after a while I joined him on his walks, and I think he enjoyed the company. He seemed to be searching for something, but I never knew what it was.
How long have you known him?
Perhaps a few months only, but
He never said anything caused you to be concerned for him. Anything suggested he had any enemies?
he never actually said a word to me. He just seemed to like to listen to my endless questions and gossip. But I knew he found some fascination.
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about where you walked with him. Perhaps it may give us some insight into anything he may have stumbled across or have been looking for.
It tends to be just she can sort of list some areas, but you don't notice any pattern. But she does say that he always, of course, he would always start his journeys from Spireroot, which is where the Sylvaneth live in Anvilgard. That's number 49.
Well then, I suppose our route of inquiries must take us to the Sylvaneth. This appears to be a weapon constructed with their destruction in mind, and so they must be at great risk.
Agreed.
You won't be able to reach them, but I could arrange a meeting with the branch witches if that would help.
Why won't we be able to reach them?
Well, if you knew Spireroot, then you would know that it is not accessible unless it wishes for you to access it.
We are, however, rather good at accessing places. Nevertheless, I think we should take the lady up on the offer. What say you, fellows? I didn't actually say that. That was... what say the rest of you?
Aye.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Lady, what is your name? You may already have told me, but I'm very forgetful.
She says, my name is Talari Mistbloom, and I am a gardener here in Anvilgard.
Well then, Lady Mistbloom, lead on. We appreciate your help.
And at that moment, the city guard, what do you call them?
Pigs.
Yeah, they turn up. Trying to, they start pushing the crowd away, and you hear like a raised shouting from them. And you hear this kind of hissing voice saying, "Get back from me, you fools!" And sort of barging her way through is well, you may not know, but it's a branch witch.
Oh.
Oh, wowee.
And she walks straight past you, nods at Talari, who bows back, goes up to Redleaf's body, and then with a quick slice of her scythe, she cuts into him, and then reaches inside and then pulls out this glowing pod. And then leaves again, as quickly as she came.
Did you say?
That's evidence.
And,
Did you say a glowing pot?
Yeah, and you can do a 6-1 lore or nature test to know what that is, what it's all about.
Was that pod as in seed pod or pot as in marijuana?
Seed pod.
Oh, okay, I thought you said pot. I'm like, that's interesting. Alright, so you need nature. That's gonna suck.
Zuriel does not, in fact, know what a glowing Sylvaneth pod is.
What's the DN?
6-1.
Nice.
Nope, no one's ever seen one.
Molasses,
Makes sense, I guess.
have you seen one?
If Molasses has seen one, it is only because she's cut the heart.
You're muted, Mike. Mike, you're muted.
I know. I didn't bother rolling because he said the things that I always dread. Was it intuition and arcane?
You just have to get lucky.
Oh, it's a one. Oh, fine.
You said the tests I always dread, which is any of the skills.
That aren't
Anything
casting
where
spells
there
or
is
stabbing things. Same again. I can use law or I can use what else?
Nature.
Mm,
You know, that thing that made you such a good quartermaster?
yes, I remember. Flawless.
Nature.
Flawlessly enacted. Nature.
Also, your successful lore-based adventures when researching the lizardfolk.
Famously,
Another strong point.
famously learned a lot about them. No successes.
They've got scales.
All do the best we can.
I mean, statistically, that's quite impressive.
I mean, it's it's actually quite a lot. How many dice do you roll?
12 dice, you should have got at least
Wow, yeah.
2. Well, on average 2.
That's bad.
Pretty poor rolling there.
Means we'll only roll better later.
That's true. Luck always comes
That's-
back around.
That's how luck works. It's very mathematical and predictable.
Yeah, it's
So Talari, after the branch witch has left, Talari says to you, Orixion, she says, "Oh, that's that would be who I call Sorrow Branch. She's not the most enjoyable company, but I've had good dealings with Joy Branch. I can take you to talk to her. She's always happy to talk to non-Sylvaneth."
I see. And did they get their names for their temperaments?
Yes, I believe so. I believe this is how Alariel has made them.
How sensitive of her. Indeed, we would perhaps need to interview Sorrow Branch also, but let us start where you think the soil is most fertile. For us to lay our seed.
Ruined it.
Well, I just realised that it was a weird line anyway, so I decided I'd go with it.
I think she'd like it. Gardener humour, gardener fun.
Right?
Cool.
Where do
And sort of a few minutes afterwards, the pod is taken out. The whole body crumbles into a white dust.
Orixion will collect a sample of the white dust.
Oh.
A small glass vial.
Wotan's ancestry.
I was about to say,
It's evidence.
Oh yeah, while we're at it, Zuriel probably wants to collect some of the actual weaponized defoliant suspected.
Fine.
I mean, you say weaponized, but I mean, like, it could just be, the defoliant itself.
Well, he believes it has been mixed with filthy, tainted chaos magic.
Yeah, the
Fair.
defoliant that's around you is definitely not magical in any sense.
The Sylvaneth would probably have a pretty tough time in Anvilgard if they all got melted by the defoliant.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yikes. We don't go down the docks or anywhere near the walls. We pretty much just stay inside.
So yes, Talari's saying, should I take you to Spireroot, or is there something else you wish to investigate beforehand? I would recommend taking whatever that foul-smelling liquid is to Spireroot if you believe it is a danger to the Sylvaneth.
I will make a stop at the Black Nexus. And, was it Black Nexus?
Yeah.
Yep.
And leave this in the safekeeping of the Anvils of the Elden Hammer.
Nice.
I would not want to make such a faux pas as to bring a deadly weapon into their home. Thank you for the reminder, though.
Yeah. So you can also take it to the. Well, I mean, some experts of defoliant, but whether you want to go talk to them is up to you.
Well, that's a great point. Great point. I do know that. Oh, what's she called? The one that was under house arrest.
Irina, that's right.
Irina. Perhaps we.
What's that?
Perhaps Irina would take interest in this. If we believe her to be trustworthy. It seems that she is the one to have a look at this, and hopefully we've not burnt our bridges with her entirely.
Well,
I believe we treated her fairly.
You let her keep her head, so it's always.
Yeah, I'd say we're on good terms.
Yeah.
Agreed. Then we give the defoliant sample, and I'll give her this sample of the remains as well, in case it helps her analysis of how this compound has been formulated to damage the tree people.
The tree folk.
Hooray!
Right, so you're heading to Irina first, are you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Milo said, it seems like a faux pas to bring a chemical weapon into the home of the people for whom it was designed to destroy.
Yeah, fair. Do you bring Talari with you, or do you?
Oh yeah. Well, because she's got to welcome us. She's got to get us safe passage into Treeland.
Yeah. Okay.
Treeland.
Right. So you make your way to Irina, and if you remember, after Rotten to the Core, she was put under house arrest.
Yep.
So as you approach the former High Architect's home, you can't help but notice the pair of armed guards stationed at her front door. They make no move to interact with you as you knock. A few moments later, a frazzled Irina slams open the door and lets out a long sigh. You again? Well, any company's better than none. Come on in.
Nice to see you too. We come in. Orixion will sort of hold the door open for the lady whose name I've already forgotten. Witherbloom, Nightbloom,
Talari Mistbloom.
Mistbloom. There you go.
Mr. Blue.
Yeah. And as you go into her house, you just see kind of, it's like a super messy workshop, loads of half-finished projects all over the place. She's clearly going a bit stir crazy. But this time she does offer you tea.
Oh, lovely.
Which I know was a niggle last time.
It was a big drama.
All those months ago. As she thanks you for not condemning her to prison and execution previously.
You have Asan.
Of course, that's what she's serving you.
Yeah. It's okay. It's not very particularly funny.
It does sound like the most dwarven tea, though.
I think so.
Assam dudes.
Zuriel, did you want to explain the why we've come?
Yes, we have come from a crime scene that may be of interest to you. Sylvaneth was slain by what we believe to be corrupted defoliant, and being an expert in defoliant as you are, we were hoping you might be able to offer some further insights.
She just sort of scowls. She says, you're talking about, I think you're talking about what I've heard about earlier. My new doorman was talking about it. It's a Sylvaneth, is that right? Terrible business.
It is right, and the effects on the Sylvaneth are most chilling.
Well, if you come to me, you must think that the defoliant has played some part in it. Wouldn't surprise me if Zadre's got his hands on my production facility.
So how do you say that he has something to do with this then?
Well, he always wanted to make it more efficient, more deadly to the intended target, and of course that means also to unintended targets as well.
So you don't suspect that he would wish harm, or that he would wish it to be used in this way, but that he's been weaponizing it to a greater extent. For what purpose? For its own purpose.
I believe if he had his own way, he would make it so concentrated that anything not human or dwarf would dwarden. I don't know what a dwarf is. Would instantly perish. That may just be my bias speaking.
Are you able to... Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Are you able to offer any proof that could aid in this idea that you have?
I mean, do you think I have any proof stuck in this house? All I can judge is Zadre's character, and I mean, you seem to believe that the defoliant is involved, and he is the defoliant for all intents and purposes. So, but no, I don't. If push comes to shove, I don't think Zadre would want Sylvaneth to be killed in the streets. I don't understand why he would want that. But it could just be a byproduct of his ambition, let's say.
Tell us more. A byproduct product. You mean somebody else has repurposed it, who also has access to his new new defoliant mixture.
That could very well have happened. It's gone missing before. It could have happened again.
Well,
But the who and the why is I cannot say.
we've done this dance before, haven't we? You don't have access to anything anymore, so how would you know who's stealing the new defoliant that is presumably being made by your former servant, now usurper? We'll leave these...
At least I can't be falsely accused this time.
Yes, well, just, hold on to that. We can accuse anyone we want, remember?
Oh, yeah, we're the fantasy fascists.
We're the protagonists.
Oh yes.
We have samples from the murdered Sylvaneth, and I believe Brother Zuriel has a sample of the compound we believe the altered defoliant we believe was used to kill him. Perhaps if we left them with you, you could experiment on them and learn more. Or perhaps you're too busy. I don't know.
Do you show her the sample at all, or?
I do. Yeah, Orixion will pull out the file of dusty tree man remains.
Yes, but Zuriel cautions her to take the utmost care, given what he believes.
Yeah.
Would we be able to, and maybe this is like completely far-fetched, but do you think it would make sense for us to try to get a sample from the current factory to compare it to the sample that we currently have to see if it's being produced there or if this is something separate?
Possibly, but do we know of anywhere else that could produce defoliant?
No, but we would be able to rule out one or the other, right?
Well,
so, like, if we find out that what's currently being produced, where we know that it should be produced, that doesn't really match this sample, then we'd know that there's something else that's messing with it.
Yeah, but we kind of already know that, don't we? Because we've seen the original defoliant as it was at the very beginning. We've seen the slightly improved version, sort of, and now we've seen this that is brown and green and gooey, and it smelt of chaos to Milo.
Yes.
So, I think we know that the two things are different. What we need to find out is how and why and due to whose action. I don't know. It would certainly theoretically help to have a sample of current in production defoliant and compare it to the stuff that Zuriel picked up, because then you might prove the difference between those two. But we still need to find out why they're different, and whether it's like a chaos ritual or all sorts. I think we're a long way off finding that out. That's the point.
Yeah, she takes the samples and sweeps a few things from her desk and does some sort of minor tests with the liquid, and then after a few minutes lets out a sigh of frustration and says, I'm sorry, I don't have the proper methods of breaking this down here, but I can tell from the smell that there is way more than defoliant that's at work here.
Is there? We must go very soon, so we need to meet with the Sylvaneth leaders. But before we go, is there anywhere else in the city that you think the proper equipment could be found to test this further?
Well, I would say that the defoliant production facility would be your best bet.
Oh, lovely. Where's that?
Show map.
No, I mean, quite seriously. Of course. Could you mark it on our map so that we can take our investigation there next?
I believe you've been there before.
Oh, sorry. I have these strange moments where my memory goes.
You may remember, Orixion, that it was in the facility that our companion Molasses Slaughtershade nearly perished in a vat of defoliant. Do you remember that? That warehouse?
I don't remember that happening.
I'm led to believe that sometimes even the elven mind might choose to block out traumatic experiences. So, rest assured, you did nearly perish.
Near-death experiences.
Yes.
Rude.
Certainly a great opportunity for future research. That elven tendencies. But thank you. I'm going to use. I think Orixion will use her former title to kind of keep her sweet.
Oh.
Which was
Very
what
diplomatic.
again? High architect.
High architect, yeah.
Yeah. You have once again been a great service to us, High Architect. We'll return if we can be of help, or if you can be of help once again. Thank you. There's a little bow.
Well, thank you for coming to visit and being so kind as to use my title that was stolen off me. Hopefully, you'll be able to call it me that for real in the future.
Yes, hopefully. Anyway, have a good one.
Oh, yes, sir. The SVP of Defoliant.
I've managed to agree with Enclave a personal improvement plan that will get you back to at least SVP level in 10 years max.
10 years max. 8 till 7. Extra £500 a year. Brilliant. Cool. And that's our weekly segment where we shit on GMG.
Yay!
Join us next week.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Cool. So you leave then, do you?
Oh yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
And head where?
To the root bar. The Levi roots.
Yes,
Yeah.
to our meeting, I think.
Okay. Are you still got the phone with you, or you've left it?
No.
Of course, we were supposed to go to the Nexus. We were going to go to the Nexus to keep it safe, weren't we? The point was, I thought we were going to leave it with her because it would take ages to do the experiment. But she just
but she can't do anything with it.
Centrifuge and went. Oh no, I can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
yes, via the home to the anvils.
Fine. Yes, you head there, and Zuriel, maybe you head to the Arcanum chaps, the Sacrosanct chaps. Put it in the secure, don't know, chemical weapons facility. Carrich, as you leave the Black Nexus, a young man approaches, holding a crate of medium size, and says to you, Carrich Bonnh.
Who's asking?
I have a package that I was supposed to deliver to you. I've been looking for you all across the city, but I heard that you were seen here at the Black Nexus. What's Orixion's face?
I know, I'm trying not to look at him because I can't keep myself from laughing.
What are we doing?
I'm sorry, please go on.
Eyes, mouth, ears.
Oh yes.
I mean, he says he's been looking for you. He's got a package.
Ah, right.
I don't think it's what you think it is.
I don't either.
It is. It's very anticlimactic.
And is this the package that you're currently carrying?
That is correct. Hello, Fresh.
In that case, Carrich will proceed to take the package, but he's kind of wary of opening it, given everything else that's happening.
Yeah. I mean, you've been betrayed 3 times. This could be the 4th
Only?
time.
Only 3.
I'd say we're doing pretty
Been
well.
an easy life, isn't it?
Yeah.
This could be a stick of dynamite in there or something.
Are you okay, guys? How many times have you been betrayed in your life?
In this adventure, this adventure was saying many times.
Fine, so you open it.
So can I ask?
Is it helmet
Zuriel
shaped?
kind of like inspect it for, using or molasses to get your witch eyes to see if there's anything.
I don't have any
Paintings.
witch eyes.
Ask some questions like, who are you? Who asked you to give this to me? When?
Yeah. Where have you come from? What is your name? Who do you work for?
So could either of them check?
I'm not
Zuriel
much to
can
help.
gaze over it with his witch sights to see does he sense a powerful flowing of magic from within.
No.
Then I crack it open.
You crack open the crate, and you see Daswalt
Woo!
Oh, it was. My
inside
goodness.
some packing peanuts.
That was anticlimactic.
And on top you see,
Was it? That was the climax. That was good.
and on top you see a note. And on the note
Written.
it reads, "Heard you've been looking for this. Be careful where you leave your things." Signed, T.K.
TK.
Do we know anyone with the initials TK?
No.
You're the captain of the Blackfin was called
I
Daryl
was gonna say,
Caltis.
yeah.
No.
Okay,
Definitely-
nice.
Definitely not him.
Last had it would be a good guess.
But this is the bastard. This guy is she was what betrayed us, right?
Well-
Say the B word.
I mean, the guy who you came up from the sea floor and he was not there anymore.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Carrick's
I would say that one does count as a betrayal.
You got
Yeah, I
what
mean,
you
he's
came for.
he's ecstatic.
No, wait, no.
So am I, to be honest.
No, he stole what we came for and
That's
got
true.
the payoff.
I remember now. I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't automatically get slaughtered as soon as he appears in the adventure in the
Yes.
future.
And he will.
So he's making a return.
Hmm.
I mean,
I was looking back at my notes. I just
No,
I didn't
that's-
understand the significance of it. I left my line said, "We get a few barrels to fend off the attack and return to the water surface, only to see the boat is left with Carrick's hat."
Yes.
I just like how I called it a hat. I didn't realise at the time. I think how important this bloody helmet was going to be.
and the best thing is that you can have it very soon after Professors McGonagall and Flitwick have checked it for
Mm-hmm. Curses.
kinds of evil curses that might be on it.
Uncle Zuriel and Auntie Molasses have done their thorough magical tests.
What was that one with? It was with the
The fireball.
the firebolt. The firebolt, of course.
So that's great. Question. I've finished my long-term goal, and my short-term goal is now inactive because it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yeah.
So should I write new ones now or wait until next session?
You can wait till next session.
I'd like to challenge. I don't think Carrich did very much to achieve their short-term and long-term goal. It just fell into their lap.
My long-term
feel
goal has
like,
literally been written since we
did
started.
a lot of whinging about it. Didn't really do much action, and suddenly here's the fruits of no labour, just literally dropped at his doorstep.
Man's got a point.
Long-term goal.
Anyway. Well, maybe you should come up with long-term goals, and maybe you'll get them.
I have got a long-term goal. It's on my character sheet.
Slaughter everybody.
Through grand acts of glory or by way of schemes unfathomable to mortal minds, you seek to have your name whispered in terror across the mortal realms. That's my long-term goal.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not a crate for that for you. So sorry.
Any more? Anything else in your pocket? Have you checked your inner pocket?
Great notoriety.
DHL don't do.
Mortal terror.
Yeah.
Well, Carrich will very proudly put Dazzle back on his head once again.
Well, packing peanuts fall out. You don't even
Oh,
get.
I find that like kind of just that melt away in water.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that kind.
Very.
Always feels wrong. It's like I'm putting a lot of shit down my sinkhole.
It feels like it should, yeah, like it should smell somehow as well, but
Yeah.
it just goes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not going to do it when I own the house that I'm pouring things down the drain. Right. Yes. Very good.
Right.
Very nice.
Very good, very nice.
Talari Miss Bloom looks very confused about why you're so happy about getting a hat, but she thinks it's a very fine hat, so she's happy for you.
So we're on good terms then.
Yes. And yeah, can you imagine if she was Blackskirt Court and then stole it?
Imagine.
Imagine if she was like an enchantress of the Daughters of Cain. It'd be funny.
Yeah, wouldn't I?
Ooh, that would be funny.
Anyway.
Don't get any ideas, Mike.
So you arrive at number 49. And as you look around you on the street level, you don't see nothing. And when you look up, you see a very strange sight. Almost appearing like a small island, suspended high above the shadowed streets by a trio of great living vines that reach out and wrap around themselves around three vast, long-abandoned towers. The odd leaf or petal spins down from above, browning and shrivelling as it struggles against the defoliant mist. The streets are surprisingly quiet here, with few choosing to live near such alien and unpredictable beings. But you spot the odd, diminutive but colourful spite flitting to and from Spireroot overhead. One lets out an ominous melodic cackle in your direction, darting past your faces at startling speed before zipping through the air towards Spireroot.
Wait, I'm sorry, what was that? What?
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
No, what was the thing that zipped past us?
Yeah, I didn't really understand what that was.
That's cool.
Sorry.
So you know the things that was the branch witch is holding.
Oh, that...
Oh, the centipede thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
They could fly?
Gross.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they could fly.
They can talk.
What can't they do?
Apparently play the guitar.
Banjo.
Ironically.
Cool. So you sort of stand around, looking up, not really sure what to do. And then after a few moments,
Aria, like.
Could Zuriel teleport us there?
and after a few moments,
Himself there.
a vine descends,
Oh.
carrying another branch witch. And as they arrive, they enthusiastically greet you all and embraces Talari Mistbloom in a foliage enveloping hug, asking if she is unharmed.
Ooh.
And this branch witch is very different to the other one. Her unmoving wooden face holds an unsettling, too wide smile and huge eyes.
Ew.
Her lush leaves and vines are overfull, covering almost her entire body, giving her the illusion of a surprisingly round figure for a Sylvaneth. Small flowers perpetually bloom and wilt across her body.
Oh, weird.
And then Talari says, she says, I've brought these fine people to meet with you. They are here on order of Sigmar to investigate Redleaf's murder. Perhaps you'll be able to speak to them in Spireroot, maybe. And the branch witch turns its creepy wide smile to you. It says, well, of course. And what are your names, please?
Surely Molasses is the first one to identify themselves. Biggest charisma in the group goes first.
I am the Great.
That was where I start spreading my infamy, I suppose, yes. You will have heard of me. Through my acts of glory or schemes unfathomable to mortal minds. I'm sure you've heard my name whispered in terror across the mortal realms. I'm Molasses Slaughtershade. Expert bloodletter and fiend of all who have blood.
Unfortunately, Molasses is also bound to serve Sigmar in those, perhaps in a bloodier way than some of his other chosen servants, but I am Zuriel Stormwake of the Celestial Vindicators.
Carrich sort of bows ever so slightly. Carrich, please to serve you.
Getting that weight back, that sort of...
Yeah, it feels good again.
Gives you
I like to think he sort of tips over because he's not used to wearing his heavy helmet anymore.
He does struggle a little bit, but...
Maybe he doesn't even mean to bow. It's supposed to be a nod, and he's like, whoop. Milady.
Milady.
And I am known as Orixion the Just of the Knights Excelsior. We are very pleased and honoured to make your acquaintance, Branch Witch.
She says, and she nods to each of you when you say your names, and she says, yes, of course. And you are here to investigate the murder of poor Redleaf.
Indeed.
Correct.
And the implicit evil behind it. But one thing at a time. Is there anything you can tell us about what happened to Redleaf?
Of course, please follow me to Spireroot where we can discuss further. The defoliant makes my bark itch so very much. And then, more vines descend for you to grab onto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. Diplomatically grab onto a vine.
with much diplomat.
Much diplomacy.
Does anyone undiplomatically grab onto the vine?
Piss on the vine.
No. Molasses scams up.
Molasses picks at it, picks the leaves off it.
That's it.
Cool. So you ascend.
Ooh.
I don't know if a weird question, but are we able to ask this witch about whatever what's glowing inside of the Sylvanet? Or would that be breaking what happened earlier where we couldn't roll for it?
You can if you want. Might be an interesting conversation. What's that glowing thing inside you?
Did I totally misinterpret that? So she cut the glowing thing out of Redleaf?
Yep.
So she stabbed it. No one made a fuss.
What?
It's fine.
It's the same thing for sure.
Well, I'm guessing. Well, no, I shouldn't guess when it comes to Warhammer.
You should. It's always fun.
I'm always proven very, very wrong. I don't want to do that again.
So I have no idea what this pod is either. My first thinking is that it's like Space Marine's progenoid glands. It's just like a little ball of stuff inside them that get kept when they die because there's some genes in there or something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like either memories or maybe possibly just like the Stormguard. I always forget what they're called, but you guys, they could be reforged. Stormcast.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much that they put them back and they grow them, and then the Sylvaneth have the memories follow down, carry over.
So like rebirth is a very big thing in this universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, that's a really good point. I hadn't really thought of that, but
Yeah.
It comes up in every single faction has some way of
I guess
memorializing and keeping alive the dead.
Because the whole setting is just one big rebirth, I guess.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Stick
I
that
guess.
in your dissertation. Right. / Wargamer long read.
It's coming, don't you worry.
Cool. So, as you set foot onto the rich grass of Spireroot's clearing, you feel as if you have been transported to another place entirely. After all your time in the streets of Anvilgard, so devoid of natural life, the sheer variety and vibrance of plant life here is almost overwhelming. Even the wind, which should whip and howl through the trees at this altitude, is somehow reduced to a balmy breeze that rustles leaves and sets the grass into waves of soothing emerald motion. You hear the melodic and melancholy tones on the breeze, and you can't help but feel as if you've arrived during a time of mourning. And you're sort of in this section here, and the branch which whose name is Joy Branch invites you to sit and talk with her.
Question: is it artistically drawn small, or is it actually like this small area?
Is it Honey I Shrunk the Kid's Garden?
Well, I mean, these are trees, so they're not. I mean, the trees are tree-sized.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like lengthwise, there's like what, 6 trees?
They could be very big trees.
No, they're tree sized, Milo.
I'm just trying to get an idea of like how big this area is, like to see like what the Sylvaneth the presence is like in Anvilgard and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like 100 meters at like its widest point.
So it ain't big.
Yeah, so it's a small area. Okay.
And as you can see these kind of tree-like spirits and stuff amongst the trees, sort of watching you as you walk through the clearing. But you can't seem to count them all.
Oh, that's cool.
And lots of those little spites.
When you say spites, is that like sprites? Oh, sorry, we've already gone through this. The spites are the centipede.
Yeah,
thing.
I want to say sprites, but I'm pretty sure it does say spites.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
you're...
sprites seem quite specifically spritey.
Yeah, sprite would make more sense than a spite.
No,
Although maybe
I like
maybe
sprites
it's because
I feel I have like wings.
I just managed to confuse things. Like, I'd forgotten that we'd already established that the centipede things. It's just that because I'd forgotten that, my head was still hearing you say sprite and picturing an Irish fairy. And it's like, that's not what it is. So them being called spites is not illogical, because it's not that.
The Irish fairies from Avernus. Do you remember? That was a good session.
Oh god, they were a laugh, weren't they?
Wait, no, I don't remember.
The red cats.
Oh, okay.
Drinking their kind of blood stuff
Right.
all day long. Getting high on blood heroin.
Yeah.
Quick question, Olly. Who are we talking to? Someone told us to sit next to them. Was it?
That's the branch witch who brought you up.
Okay. then yeah, follow.
Cool. So she's open to your questions. Waiting patiently, a little bit spookily, grinning at you.
Does Orixion want to have this discussion? I mean,
does Orixion want to question?
isn't Orixion a diplomat?
Yes.
He is, I guess. It's a very Orixion heavy episode. Thank you once again for your welcome. What may we call you, Lady Branchwitch? Or just Branchwitch? I don't know what your sex or gender is. I have no idea what you are.
Still grinning at you, just says, "Of course. You may call me Joy Branch."
Yes, thank you, Branchwitch. Joy Branch. Well, you know us, you know where we've come from, and our mission. We must learn all we can about this murder to track down those responsible for Redleaf's killing and why they did it. Anything that you can tell us about Redleaf and the circumstances of his death will greatly help us.
So she says, "Well, I do not spend much time dealing with the Kernoth hunters, but Redleaf had taken to patrolling the city for some reason, and I cannot say why, but they do not care for small talk. I know he befriended Talari here. That is how she came to know us." But it's such a sad thing that happened to Redleaf.
Yes. Yes, it is sad.
She doesn't really seem to care all that much, to be honest.
Certainly, it is very sad, and I would imagine that you, given the circumstances of the crime, that you and your people may be quite concerned. I don't know if you're aware, we found evidence of the scene. Redleaf was killed using some altered defoliant, something with some kind of corruption that made it not only an irritant to your kind, but toxic. It seems as though whoever came after this person is, at the very least, in possession of a weapon that could harm other Sylvaneth very easily. Are you not concerned?
As you talk, she tilts her head to the side, like either side, as you talk, as she's listening to you.
Mm.
And then says, "Oh, that is most concerning. That is terrible news indeed. Is there anything else you can tell us about this? Would you say that we are in danger here at Spireroot?"
It's very difficult to say until we've found something more in our investigation. Anything you can tell us about Redleaf and his activities, or anything you know about the defoliant, would help us on our way.
She says, "As I said, I do not know much about the Kernoth hunters, but I do tend to talk to the people of Anvilgard when I have the opportunity, but unfortunately they don't seem to like to come near here. It's a shame that they don't get on well with the Spites. They like to have just fun, you see."
Yes.
At that point, she glances around and tuts and says, "And here comes the thorny one." And another branch which is heading towards you with a great scythe out to the side. And this one's face is fixed in a permanent scowl and sneering mouth. And she's got like a crown of thorny branches, and the spikes are crawling around the thorns. And her whole body has like these big thorns sticking out around the skin. She sort of storms over to where the party is, and she says to Joy Branch, "Go back to your waters. Leave these intruders to me." And then she points her scythe at you and says, "Now, can you prove to me that you are investigating Redleaf's murder, or are you here to do more ill will? Perhaps you did it yourself."
We have someone to prove that you're innocent. A friend of yours.
Talari sort of straightens up, stands up, and says, "I wouldn't say that I could be called a friend to this one, but I can vouch for them. Yes, I was there when Redleaf was killed, and they were not anywhere near. They arrived later, so I can vouch for them. Spite Branch."
Spite Branch is the name.
That is not the name.
Look, you haven't even heard of the Sylvaneth before today.
Spite Branch, we are pleased to make your acquaintance.
Spite Branch.
Spite Branch. Might I assure you that we are here with the Sylvaneth interests at heart. Our investigations turned up very concerning evidence that perhaps a weapon has been created designed to destroy the Sylvaneth, and we believe you to be at great peril. It would assuredly be in your interests to assist us in our investigations, so as we might help you protect yourselves.
She says, "Oh yes? And what would you have me do?"
Well, our next line of inquiry would be to try and understand what motive such an attack would even have. I'm led to believe that your people do not have a great deal of interaction with the people of Anvilgard, and so such a malicious and spiteful attack on one of your own seems unusual. Is there anything that you could tell us about bad blood between the Sylvaneth and residents of Anvilgard, or anything that Redleaf might have been investigating?
She says, "Redleaf was a brave warrior. He stalked the poison mists to protect us from hidden dangers. He was a great hunter worth 10 of you. If he was killed by the spiteful people of this city, just because they do not want us here. But we are here because the Ever-Queen demands it. We shall not leave until she tells us to do so."
Truly noble purpose, and we wouldn't wish it any other way. We are here on behalf of our own God King, and seek only to improve the standing of all who reside in Anvilgard. So do you believe that there is anyone within Anvilgard who might not want you here in particular?
She slashes her great scythe down and says, "All of the city, this disgusting place, all of them want us gone. If any of them could bring down Redleaf on their own, they surely would take the chance. Whoever cooked up this disgusting foul mist could probably cook up anything that could hurt us even further. I suggest you go talk to your kind who have produced this abhorrent, disgusting mist. He's missed twice, damn it.
Honored Branch Witch, I'm sure you understand that without the defoliant at some level, the city would swiftly become uninhabitable for anybody else, any of its other inhabitants. And just as, though it may not be comfortable for the Sylvaneth, it is a necessary compromise. What we are most concerned about is this new variant that is undoubtedly being weaponized, and it's being turned against the Sylvaneth now, but tomorrow it could be turned against us all. And so it is should be a point of common cause between you and the other order-loving residents of the city. What we are interested in is somebody evidently attempting to drive a wedge between the Sylvaneth and the rest of Anvilgard by cooking up this murder and having you believe it is racial hatred. Join with us and help us, and we will find this murderer and ensure that you have a safe place here forevermore.
Pretty words, Stormcast, but whoever concocted this chemical made it target the Sylvaneth, so I will have to believe it is hatred of us and the wish of death upon us all here. And she says, I will stay here as long as the Ever Queen wills it, and I shall cut through as many as you to find out who killed Redleaf. And then she turns to go and says, do not be here when I return. And she storms off into the forest with a little posse of dryads and Kernoth hunters and following her.
Orixion raises an eyebrow and turns to Zuriel and says, I don't think my diplomacy went very well there, brother.
Perhaps it is best that we take you out of the halls of meetings and arbitration and get you on the battlefield for a break from these trials and tribulations soon, brother.
Strangely enough, I agree.
Seems that the Sylvaneth are not greatly forthcoming to us here. Is there anyone else obviously around who's looks equally important and big, or are we just sort of left?
It's a few moments after Spike Branch leaves. Talari raises a finger and points towards the forest, and she says, and right on cue, the third and final branch witch is coming to speak to us. And she says she's neither as aggressive as Spite Witch, but not as disturbing as Joy Branch. And this one comes towards you, whose face is locked in a seemingly inconsolable grief, complete with embossed tears down her cheek. Her bark is a pale ashen wood, and her branches are bare of foliage, giving her a brittle appearance. And Talari greets her, and she says, Redleaf, there will be no more seasons for him now. We feel his loss inside.
Anyone want to
Have a
baton.
Take this one on.
Zuriel just does a big sigh and says, Sorrowleaf. Yes, we are truly... Our hearts are filled with sorrow at the loss of Redleaf, and more sorrow is heaped upon them by the moment as we struggle to find any meaningful information about how we might be able to help you.
She sort of stands there, kind of eyes always cast downwards, and says, "Oh yes, I'm in charge of overseeing death and rebirth in Spireroot. I received his soul pod, and what happened to him was not natural. It did disturb me greatly."
Starting to get a very strong priest on the spaceship feel. It's like...
What
So
do you
many
mean?
creepy priests.
You've heard this reference before, Daryl. In Milo's oldie-timey Wrath and Glory one-shot that we did, he had an NPC that was a priest that was billed as a very important NPC who would tell you some very important information, and you was clearly so to go talk to this person to progress the mission, and he was just completely senile and useless. And you go and talk to him, and he just fucking says nothing, but takes a very, very long time to say it.
Honestly, it was one of the best half an hours of my life.
It was really quite entertaining.
Yeah, my character wasn't in the room, and it was the best.
I think in retrospect you can see it as entertaining. Sorrowleaf, I know little of your ways. But, do you mean to say that you may have inherited some information, or memories, or other such feelings from poor Redleaf's demise?
Oh no, only the descendant of Redleaf could do that, but it was tainted, you could say. I almost did not want to put it in the Soul Pod Grove in case it contaminated the others. Perhaps that was its purpose all along.
That assessment certainly is in line with our research into the killing weapon. I believe it was tainted with foul chaos magics.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Potentially.
your fellows have not been greatly forthcoming in information that could be useful to understand how and why you would come under attack. Do you believe there's any particular group that would want to bring harm to you?
As far as the Everqueen sees it, the entire city wishes us harm. They spray poisons into our forests.
Yes, so I hear.
We should never have come here. Give me a intuition.
I think Zuriel's out of intuition.
Walter.
I haven't, but I think he might have lost the will to live. What's the DN?
4-2. Hey.
Heyo, it's 3 successes.
You sense, I think from all of them, you sense like the reason that they're here almost doesn't sit well with any of them.
Yeah, that sounds apparent.
And I think that probably that's probably like a burning question to you. Is like, why are they even? If this is so horrible, like, why are they here? What has it got to do with anything? Maybe that's to do with the reason why people don't want them there. So perhaps you ask about that.
Yes.
She says, oh, as a Stormcast, I thought you would know about the 4 realm gates under the Black Nexus. One of which leads to Gairan, which is where most of the Sylvaneth dwells. It would be very bad for the Sylvaneth if Anvilgard would fall to chaos and the realm gate would be of use to the chaos forces.
Would surely be disastrous for all the realms connected via Anvilgard. And so your purpose here is to protect the city from forces within and without?
I would say that we are observing to make sure that we can see what happens when it happens, to protect ourselves.
And do your observations bring you any insight into the forces of chaos at work here in Anvilgard?
Perhaps that is what Redleaf was looking for, but I cannot say. But I think if Anvilgard was to fall, I think we would see it happening and would help secure the realm gates at all cost.
Certainly a noble duty. I hope it will never come to that. However, if we do not find the source of these attackers, it is entirely possible, I believe, that Sylvaneth presence here could be destroyed. And so it is of the utmost importance that if you have any information that could lead to the whereabouts of a chaos threat in the city, you must share it with us. Or perhaps all in your realm will be lost.
She just says, I do not have such information. I'm most apologetic. Perhaps continuing to investigate the evidence of the weapon that you have found.
I believe that would be most prudent. It has been enlightening visiting you here in the Spireroot. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
Very
Not
nice.
so much with Spire Branch, though.
As you turn to leave, she tilts her head as if listening to something that you can't hear, and then she says, not long now, Spire Branch will lead the Spireroot to war. The streets will bleed until she finds the killer. Best of luck to you in your endeavours.
I think Zuriel will just exchange a look with Orixion and say nothing. Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Not the best outcome so far.
Yeah.
I think we're probably ready to leave the Spireroot.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to do here.
Orixion will give a bow and thank her as well and make to leave.
Cool. Troy Branch bids you farewell enthusiastically. Summons more vines for you all to descend. Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty.
As you, let me see. Who has the highest passive awareness?
Probably not me, but let me check.
3. It's probably Zuriel since he's the only one with any awareness.
Yeah.
I have natural awareness.
Where is passive
Yeah, where
awareness?
is it?
I can see natural awareness, but not. Oh yeah.
Second.
Is it just natural awareness? In that case, it's 2.
Passive awareness.
I have 3.
Okay, so the Zuriel and Molasses, as you leave Spireroot, you're back in the misty streets once again. You start to head off, but you catch a glimpse of motion behind you. As you peer back, you spot a pair of stooped figures, what you first assumed to be a pair of over-enthusiastic beggars. Both turn at once and move in a strange shuffling gait, unmistakably matching your pace and direction. You're being followed.
Never mind.
Molasses.
That
This
is-
is time for molasses.
There is still thick fog. Correct? We're talking about there's very thick fog. So when we see them, we're just talking like bumbly shapes barely even make them out, right?
Yeah.
How interesting.
We might have to leave it there.
Bum bum bum.
Seems like a good
Yes.
spot.
Yeah.
Trying to think what I could even do anyway. I'll have a think.
Is it just Zuriel and Molasses that see this? Like, there's no, does Carrich have no idea?
Well, it says the party member with the highest passive awareness, so it's a tie, I think, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Nice. Well,
I figured out.
Hope your notebooks are full of.
Yeah, I'm trying to struggle to fit. I don't feel like unless we're missing something. Do we even have the first clue about who did this to Redleaf? Or...
Not really.
No.
You don't really have much to go on.
Not really.
Okay.
Literally, all we have is that the defoliant has been messed with, and there's some chaotic energy, and that's. I mean, to be honest, coming up, the Spireroot didn't really do us much good.
And not a metagame, but I couldn't help but notice there was zones on the Spireroot. I didn't think it was going to be combating.
Mikey's catchphrase strikes again.
Not a metagame, however.
I'm not a racist, but
Huge I'm not racist but vibes.
Well, slightly less dramatic.
It's somewhat less loaded, but yeah. Well, what we've learned that they don't know what's going on, so that's something to learn in itself, I suppose.
Well, yes, but it doesn't.
Well, they haven't told you.
Or they haven't told us. They all seemed very hesitant to share any information with us, which I think is relevant.
yeah.
And we also learned that if we don't figure things out quickly, that Spike Branch might just go on a killing spree in the city, and that would generally not be good for business. So
I think that's big point losing territory right there.
I think so. That one, I think,
Failed to prevent a civil war.
yes, that's
Minus
probably
XP.
0 XP. That one.
Yeah, but okay, sure. Obviously, we know that we have sort of like a time limit now because of Spike Branch, but from here, I can't see where we could go to try to push this further because Spireroot was not very informative and pushing us towards our answer. Maybe we could see if we have any results on the investigation into the
Well, we
defoliant.
do have another lead, which is to investigate the actual defoliant facility.
Defoliant factory. That's
our other lead.
I thought we were going to do that. Okay.
Well, we weren't going to do it then.
That's the only other lead we got. The
Okay.
examples, Irina tested the samples and was like, sorry, I don't have I can't test that.
Yeah.
And I asked her where we could test it, and she said the defoliant factory. So I feel like all roads lead to Rome here.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got leads.
Yep.
And now we know the stakes as well.
They're high.
Yeah.
And also, Spike Branch is an arsehole.
Yeah, that too. That's another lesson.
Which normally means she won't survive the mission.
I was about to say that.
I think we handle Spike Branch rather well.
At least betrayals don't really have sort of style.
Well, that's good.
No, that's true.
She'd rather just come at you.
Yeah, that's good for her more than it's good for us.
Yeah, if that scythe comes crashing down on Carrick's head, it won't be a surprise.
Yeah. But I mean,
Non-lethally, though.
It's you didn't get the information you were looking for at the moment. But think about it. If it was a noir novel story, who's the murderer? The first person I ask, who's the murderer?
Yeah. No, I think it works. Like, I think we obviously really tried to get information out of that area, but it's like not every activity that you do needs to result in a clear result. Otherwise, it's all a bit.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not saying that I'm disappointed or anything. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just I'm trying to think of what we could do, and I don't want to go all Torgor on this and say that I don't fully trust whoever we're carrying with us, because we did find her there, after the deed had been done.
She's been cleared by Orixion, the human lie detector. But you've also your other lead. You're being followed. So
yes, that's a lead.
Oh yeah, we also have that.
Which is an excellent classic noir episode end.
Yeah, someone steps out of an alleyway in a trench coat, follows you down the street,
and prepares to die.
Did you guys get any idea of like the figure, the shape, or something? Like, did you actually see them, or did you just hear them?
People following us?
Yeah,
yes.
Just two shuffling figures. Yeah, nothing too crazy.
But did you get an idea, like, shape-wise, were they Sylvaneth, were they like human, elf, dwarf, dwarven?
Good question. Were they stout or tall, or?
They were definitely not as tall as sort of humanoid shape. I'd say normal size. They're hunched. Definitely not Sylvaneth.
Humanoid and hunched.
Curious. I got to do a lot that session, and I really enjoyed it.
Bit of
Or was it a very diplomatically centered mission?
And there were no breakouts of violence, so diplomacy success.
I was waiting for that.
That'll come next week. You guys can Orixion can take the back seat, and you guys can stab and smash it.
I can
Electrify.
point my torch at people and hope they die.
I actually just remember that I need to check how goals work in this game.
Meanwhile, how do we make that picture into reaction on Discord? Is that Yan magic?
I can do that.
Nice.
Because I quite like it. I think it's cool.
Would you like me to
I just saw it.
Should I get rid of the background as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I should have taken a slightly bigger clipping. I've slightly chopped off.
He was so excited for you, Daz. That's so nice.
Honestly, I was genuinely really just full of joy on Daz's behalf.
As soon as I heard cracking, I was both really happy and at the same time really wary, because I wouldn't put it past Olly to just like do a bait and switch. So I didn't know if I should have been like really, really happy immediately or be like,
Beware
wait a minute.
Greek sparing gifts.
Yeah.
There's one thing I know about Olly. It's that he's Greek.
I'm going to say. Super Greek.
Yep. Got no plates that are whole.
God, do you know where the gold section is in the book?
Nope. And I'm going
I
to
found them. They're quite.
No, find it yourself. Good night.
Yeah, that was just nope, not my problem.
I mean,
There we go.
That's
No,
plate
that's
shit.
party goals.
in a real sense, it is not his problem.
The other
Thanks,
22 chapters are.
Thank you, OP DM. That was actually really good.
Yeah, it's cool.
I
I like this mission. I think it's going to be good fun, actually. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
So far we've seen that it might be a bit on the narrative side, which is an interesting change.
I like it. I'm looking forward to the threads being pulled together.
It also means that we will most likely fail every single roll that we have.
Yeah.
Oh, OP, I've just
I
seen
don't
your
plan on failing
Morgan
any
Ra.
rolls.
My
What?
Your Morgan Ra looking sexy as
Oh,
fuck.
yeah. Malgard.
It's a nice gothy guy.
Rah.
Yeah. You guys happy now? You're reporting to the head honcho as well? No more of this
Always good.
fucking
Oh yeah.
human
Get rid of these
bullshit.
fucking
Yeah.
politicos trying to push their own agendas. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, we like that guy.
Yeah, coming to Mikey's house, asking him to sign papers.
Yeah. They want me to. They
No.
need. They're a signature short to like nominate a new
I
local
just want to
candidate.
have a leader with chops.
Chops. Muscle chops.
You know, the chops to get the work done and the chops to be a dashing chap.
Yeah.
Mm. Sounds like
Keep
Sounds like you want to join the
Friday.
training for it being Hugh Grant as a new PM.
I
He's got
just
chops.
jealous of his chops, you know.
He's got chops.
No doubt about that. Right.
Nice.
No, friends.
Bye.
Toodles.
GG.
Toodaloo, thanks everyone.
Cool. Bye bye.
Bye.